So.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's out corning. Yeah, corning, swept it. And there's a whole. Once I get the thing up and loaded on the Facebook page, you'll see it all. But
Okay. Yeah, I tend to watch those. I find those fascinating. I like your interviews. I like your style, the way you do them. So.
I love doing it. I've been doing this for a number of years now, since 2008 when I was at WCW. All right, let's get this rolling here. Cameras are up. We're sitting there yakking away here. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Meat and Potatoes Show, conservative talk and awesome rock. I am your host, Christopher Mader, and this afternoon, one of the administrators to the Meat and Potatoes Facebook page has called in this afternoon, and you're in Pennsylvania, aren't you, Garret? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Garret Phoenix. You're in Pennsylvania, aren't you, Garret? Where are you?
Yes, I am. I'm in a little town called Everson in Pennsylvania. It's one of those towns that if you sneeze when you drive past, you miss it.
Yeah, you miss it.
There's less than 600 houses in the entire flipping town.
Yeah, really. And it's like one road going. A few times I've been out to Pennsylvania and Western New York and stuff like that. It's it's quite literally one major highway. I call it a highway. It's a two-lane road going through a mountain pass, and on each side of the major road is what resembles a town. And yeah, you're right. Before you know it, you're out of one town into another town, and then it's like hours and hours of open fields and farms and forests and everything. Then suddenly, poof, out of nowhere, there's another town somewhere. So anyway, welcome to the show, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Guy. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I enjoyed the last time I was here, and I watched the video online. A number of people I know up here watched it online, and I think they've actually tuned into your YouTube channel, and I think I'm pretty sure a few of them at least asked to join your channel on YouTube, Facebook, I mean.
Yeah, it is. The funny thing is that the actual YouTube channel hasn't got a lot of subscribers, but it does get a lot of views, and mostly because of, well, you see it, I freaking blast, I post the thing all across the social network, so it's everywhere, so, I'm practically shoving it down people's throats, but it's important, I like doing it, and it's important to do it because, as I was saying to Colonel Reeser the other day, that, there's thousands of people that do this. There's thousands of people like me. I mean, you've got a couple of pages that you run to, and, I mean, everybody's doing it. And it does two things. One, you can reach nationally. You can reach across the nation to all sorts of people. And also, you can connect locally with more people.
Right.
What it's done for me is it's gotten me in touch with a lot of local Tea Party groups here. In fact, speaking about pages, what's going on with your page, Liberty and Tyranny? Anything new on there? I have not gotten onto it in the last few days, so I just want to ask you that.
I actually have to update that. It's been kind of a crazy week. Right now we're running with the economy as it is. It's a one-car family, and our car kind of crapped the bed, so we're struggling to get that figured out and reconnoitered. So she's been bumming a ride to work. I had a job at a chemical factory over here, and that's a whole other discussion of corruption and crap that goes there. It's a three-way conflict of interest. They got a guy that sits on our borough council here. He works there. He was never a temp that they do the temp to hire. They just hired him right in. He also works for he's also a chief at the fire department. And he works there. So when they had a chemical fire, he told them to cancel the hazmat team. And then he just had temps go in there to clean up the hazardous materials. And we're talking like cobalt, K-Bacha, hydrochloric.
Are you kidding me?
So he's using his authority and a three-way circus to try and cover up so he can keep his job and protect his political career too. So that's a problem. I literally got in the face of a property the other day and I recorded it. I got to figure out how to get. I'm not super savvy with uploading like sound and video yet, but my brother's kind of shown me how to do that. There's a huge row I had with a cop around here. The little turd wouldn't even tell me his name. He's shining spotlights in people's faces as they're going up the main drag. And I said, well, do you have a radar for speeding? And he goes, no. He says, I could have pulled him over. Well, you could have, but you get to see me in court. And helping to defend them from your stupidity. Because unfortunately for you in a court of fact, your opinion doesn't matter. You have to be able to prove knew they were speeding. And anywhere in Pennsylvania, you look up the laws, it's illegal to shine a spotlight in somebody's face at 11:30 at night, you knucklehead.
Exactly, really.
Yeah.
And what I love the last time that you and I were talking, you made the famous statement, your facts are opinions and their opinions are facts. I myself have been going through a recent little thing in court also, and in fact, that's why I asked you for that information earlier to email, and thank you for that. I was just looking that over. But anyway, I'm going...
You call me.
Yeah, sure, thank you. Anyway, I'm going through this thing, and so I'm pointing out all these actual facts, all this chronological order of everything that was going on to the judge. And quite literally, the judge turned to me and she said, well, that's very nice, Mr. Mater, but we're not interested in your opinions. And I immediately thought of you. I almost burst out laughing. I was like, oh my God, what is Garret in the next room? What the hell's going on here? And she's looking at me. I was like, oh, okay, never mind, Your Honor. But I sat down. I was like, holy crap. I was like, that's exactly what Garret was telling me the last time we spoke on the radio show. So anyway.
That's what I tell them. I say, it's not an opinion, it's a fact. Now, how do you magically leave your little gavel up there and make my facts opinions? The onus is on you. First and foremost, where's your subject matter jurisdiction? You've never given me my proper right to discovery that I filed for. Where's the evidence to back up their written opinion on this damn piece of paper?
Exactly.
So we have that, we can't go anywhere.
What the situation is, I'm not going to get into too big details, but my daughter's big. We're transferring her out of the school that she's in, and she's got a slot into another school, and this whole thing has been going on, and I've been fighting it. Sure enough, the last court date was earlier this week. It was Wednesday. Everything was all happy and hunky-dory. Okay, yep, we're going to go. The slot's open. Here's the paperwork. Everything's going to be signed. Friday, we go to her old school, and they lost the paperwork. They said, well, they faxed it to the school. We went over to the other school. They said, oh, no, we haven't got it. Until we get it, she can't show up here. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday. I called the Guardian Ad Litem, the child advocacy groups on Friday. Told them exactly, and they said, yes, we're aware of that. I was like, we'll get back to you. Okay. So it's like, wait a minute. They never called me again Friday. So now it's Saturday and Sunday. State workers don't work Saturdays and Sundays. So quite literally, my daughter said, I know, they don't work really anyway. So quite literally, just a few minutes before I turned on the sound system here and got you on the phone, my daughter says to me, Dad, what am I doing tomorrow? I said, I have no idea. She said, I don't. She's already out of her old school, but yet they haven't got the paperwork in the new school. She's supposed to start Monday, and it's like, so I'm like, you know what?
It's a beautiful part of that.
It is. It's a beautiful system we've got going here. Go on. Go ahead.
You want to talk about parallels. We just took my two sons. I have older children to a previous marriage. But my two youngest sons, the youngest of which is autistic, now there was a lot of bullying going on and so on and so forth. There was a huge row. I mean, I'm not exactly what we would call delicate in my dealings with things. I'm more of the bull in the china shop. It's the what? Then I'm in the door. There was some bullying going on, and I've been trying to get these knuckleheads to address it for well over 2 years. And finally, my youngest son, who is 10, now mind you, he's almost 5 foot tall at 10 years old. He's a monster.
Sure.
I'm 6'2", and I'm the shortest of 5 brothers. And I'm the oldest one at that.
Sure.
So, he finally gets tired. He grabs the kid up by the front of his shirt and just tosses him a couple feet and bounces him up with the back of his paper head off of, the bathroom wall. They can call me when he is in school to make sure he isn't skipping, but they can't call me to tell me that there was an altercation, and they decided to keep him after school, and I had to go pick him up, but they never bothered to notify me. Well, we had a little discussion about whose child he actually is. I told him flat out, he does not belong to you, he does not belong to the state, he does not belong to the district, he is my child, and you will never damn well do this again, or I will put my 13 square up your backside. You want to make myself clear?
Exactly. Here's what's
Don't contact me.
That doesn't surprise me, the story that you're telling me. What started all of this for me with my daughter also is, see, when you and I were kids, if you acted up in school, a note was sent home from the teacher to your mother, and your father kicked your ass and straightened you out. Or, yeah, exactly. And the problem was solved. And here's the other thing, too. Or the school would call and say, we need you to come in for, a parent-teacher conference, and you would come in and discuss the issue. Again, problem solved. No, what happens now, and I'm sure this happens to you all the time also, is that what they do is they wait. What they do is they gather a document. They create a dossier. They write down every little thing that your child does, and they wait like a month, maybe 2 months, and then what they do is they go directly to the social workers. They go directly to DSS or DCF or whatever state calls whatever it is, whatever they call it. So now they've got this dossier of stuff. It's like, oh, look, this child's been acting this way for a month. Then you are notified. So now you've got, again, it's already decided. The case is already decided. It's already finished. Because your child is a bad child. We have a month's worth of documentation to prove it. It's like, oh, so much for the Fourth Amendment there, huh? Thanks a lot. And in the case of my daughter, and I tried pushing a motion in the court, and the judge just didn't want to have anything to do with it. What I tried to do was get a motion to have the emails that were written by the teachers and all the paperwork that was written by some of the other staff members thrown out of court as evidence, and the judge is like, why do you want to do that? I said, first of all, there were no names attached to that. Well, we do that because we protect the teacher's privacy. I was like, oh, well, isn't that nice that the teacher gets to privately accuse my child of something, even if my child was doing it. Let's say my child was a complete POS, okay? That's fine. You put your name to that. You see what I'm saying? We had pages and pages of emails over the past couple of months. Every single one of those emails had no name, nothing attached. And I was like, if these people are going to accuse my daughter of something, they got to be standing here in this courtroom, and they're going to get cross-examined. Again, the judge was like, well, thank you for your opinion, Mr. Maynard. It's like, oh, man. Go on, Garret.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing how I deal with this. Do you know yourself that if people call me an anarchist all the time, you see it up on the pages, and okay, so you don't hear me denying anything. Here's the problem I have with it. In 1865, after the Civil War, the whole thing started with the marriage certificate. Okay, your marriage license. That was to make it legal then, because it was illegal all over the place, for black men to marry white women. If you have any kind of case of history. Now, of course, government expands into that. Now, everybody supposedly needs a marriage license. When that was all that needed was there was in your church or at the JP, there was a certificate that stated, yes, you were married here, now blah, blah, blah. Now, what it is they take ownership of your marriage. That's why when you go and get a license, you're getting permission to get married. And then you're asking mommy and daddy the state for permission. Therefore, anything that goes into that, now that's the property of the state. And the state has the public schools, which you're forced at a barrel of a gun to pay tribute to, or they come and take you away. And if you don't send the children off to their indoctrination centers, they use the barrel of a gun to take you away so that they have control. You see how the game is played.
Sure, right. And
now, the part that really kicks my ass is Rule 602 of the Federal Rules of Evidence. If they don't have the person in there to witness this, they have no testimony because they must have first-hand account. Period. Rule 602.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is, where is the contract that you signed your custody rights over to the state or the school district, etc.? They're usurping your parental rights. We took our children out of that and put them in the PA cyber school, which I have to admit I love. And that's what I was saying about the parallels. They lost the record for your daughter. It's amazing because they suddenly can't find the latest IEP for my autistic son, so he's got to get back 4 years and go into speech, which he doesn't damn well need anymore.
amazing.
It's a game. It's petty. It's their childish. Well, we'll teach you, and we'll get you and your little damn dog too.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately for them, I've been in this system. I've played the game with my ex-wife. I know how to play this, and you know what? It's always slammed against the father because if you have a penis, you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's I posted years ago. I said if you've got a pair up here, the world is your oyster. But if you got a pair down there, you're screwed. It's unbelievable.
Right.
Now, all right.
It just makes me so angry. And like I said, honestly, that anything you tell me stays between you and I. That's just how I consider things. And that's how I operate. That's integrity. So honestly, I'll be here if you wanted to call and if you wanted to discuss strategy or anything like that. That's fine.
Sure, I would
But
love
you
to.
pull that crap with well, that's your opinion. How is that my opinion? You factually state to me how facts are suddenly opinions. Did you wave a magic wand?
Now,
I'll tell you what. Let me see your certified written out at the law office, because I want to see whether or not you're actually a certified judge. If not, I'm going to direct the bailiff to arrest you for impersonating an officer of the court. That usually shuts them the hell up.
what is interesting about the assistant principal? I'm not going to name her name. The thing that I'm working on now in my blog, it's a multi-part expose. That's why I asked you for the welfare stuff in the email. I want some more reference material to look over. The assistant, I will mention the assistant principal's name, when as the blog goes along. But this woman, quite literally, what I noticed is she's outside the courtroom and she's buddy-buddy with everybody. She's so obviously it dawned on me, this is her job. This is her game that she plays. We're standing there outside in the hallway and stuff, waiting to get called in to have our case heard. She's laughing it up with social workers. She's laughing it up with guardian ad litem. She's even laughing it up with the court-appointed lawyer that's representing my daughter. And I thought to myself, this is all a cabal. This is what she does. She comes into court, and she drags all these families and children with her and gets them all rigged into the system. And according to my daughter, I was talking to several of her friends, and they're all saying the same thing. They're saying, oh, yeah, my friend over here, yeah, they're in trouble. They got to go to court. Oh, yeah, my so-and-so's friend, their parents, they have to go to court. And one of the things I want to do is get a lot of these people together and, interview them and talk to them. Maybe not interview them on the show and that kind of thing, but talk to them so I can get some stuff going for the blog. But this woman gets up there in front and just lies. I even said that. I said, she would make a statement, and I would say, Your Honor, that is a categorical, that is completely false. That is a complete lie. I even used the word lie. Oh, Mr. Mater, we're not at that point now. I said, why isn't this woman being charged with perjury? She said, well, we're not at that. Well, I'm ready to go to trial. So it hasn't come to that. Hopefully we can resolve it here. And what they mean by resolving it is I've got to do what they say. I ended up getting what I wanted. I got my daughter out of that school and away from that freaking woman. I hate this woman. Her name will be mentioned in the blog later on. I'm not going to mention it here for legal reasons. But I ended up getting what I wanted. But it's unbelievable. And you're right, they do get away. They just get away with it. And like I said, they're all in a cabal. They're all outside the courtroom laughing and talking it up with each other. It's like, great. Talk about... isn't there supposed to be a certain amount of objectivity going on here? But apparently not. Apparently not.
Well, see, Chris, that's the thing I've been saying. The idea behind it is, and I'm not, when does conspiracy theory become conspiracy fact? Okay, that's a good question. I'd like to answer that, at least to this point, this situation right now, because what they want to do is they want to label her as a bad kid. There are 340-some different mental defects now. Most of which, the really heavy ones, are if you question authority or if you don't trust authority. Isn't that interesting? And now what they're going to do is they're going to try and label your child as the one that questions authority or is misbehaving, so they can get her on psychotropic drugs. And when she has psychotropic drugs, now they take away her rights forever because she's smart with that. Right. So they get them in the system, they remove their rights, so they have no rights, they say they have no power, and that's the end-sum game. Of course they all work together. And on top of that, when the doctors prescribe the damn medications, they're getting kickbacks, and this is all factual, folks. You can look it up.
It is. He's right.
You get kickback from the chemical companies that produce the frickin' Prozac and crap. The schools get kickbacks for every damn kid they get enrolled on it, so they get money out of it. The judges taking money from the state, which they get kickbacks for every kid and every person they incarcerate. The state cops get promoted and bonuses for every person they ticket and or prosecute for felony arrest. That's the main objective every time you're pulled over or approached by a cop, is to try and get a felony arrest to get you in the system, strip you your rights. It's right there. It's how much more obvious can it frickin' be?
Exactly. And again, as I'm researching for this piece that I'm writing in the blog, there's already the first and second part of it out. It's floating out there on the network there. Is that the standards get lowered and lowered and lowered. And what I'm talking about is what they categorize as at-risk children. Now, on the surface, it's laughable. But I mean, on the surface, when you think about it, okay, a prudent person, a sane person would say, okay, what is an at-risk child? Well, a child who's living in an abusive household. He comes to school every day with black eyes or bruises, or he's openly, you can openly see that the child's being abused. And so that is an at-risk child. Now, what they've done is that over time, they've lowered and lowered and lowered that standard. So actually, your autistic child is probably labeled as an at-risk child. My daughter is labeled as an at-risk child because Rebecca and I, we're not legally married, but we've been together for 18 years. We have 3 beautiful children. But because she's considered a single mother, therefore my daughter is an at-risk child. And the standard gets lower and lower and lower and lower. And they have a thing in Massachusetts called CRA. I haven't got my notes in front of me. I forget what it is. It's child something. It's got something to do with children like my daughter, who question authority, tend to talk out, speak out, that kind of thing. They're not necessarily, setting fire in the bathroom or beating kids up in the hallway. Those are the real bad kids. That's under a whole different ball of wax, which I'll cover in the blog as I go along. But she's just one of those difficult children. So this goes with exactly what you just said, is that now, really, a child is just being difficult, so therefore they've got to go to court? They've got to be charged with something because the child is just, talking out, talking back to people. I mean, there was a time they used to call children, well, it's a willful child or it's a stubborn child. Well, no, now today, my child has a mental disorder and there's something wrong and she needs counseling. And it's like, really? Seriously? That is quite literally what I have been going through. And it's staggers the mind. Really, you wasted, and here's the other thing, I forgot this. Here's the other thing, is they sent me, I'm technically unemployed. I don't work and my benefits ran out. My wife she's doing 2 jobs, my son's working, so, I got to get a job, but because I took on the case and because I was going to court, I was the representative parent. My wife is working all the time. She can't go to court. They sent me a letter the other day. It's got something, it's a financial slip. I've got to prove that I'm indigent and that I can't pay for this. I put a letter in. I said, look, you guys started this case. You guys charged it. You guys pursued it. You guys paid for it. I didn't ask for this. I'm sitting here minding my own business, doing my thing, and suddenly a letter comes in the mail saying I've got to go to court. So don't you come to me and say, oh, you've got to pay for this. I'm not paying for crap is what I'm doing. That's the real ball buster.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is look how many reports now we've got in the news of people being stopped for a fucking light being out or a sticker being crooked on their license plate. They're taken to a hospital subject to like 37 anal probes, and then they're getting a fucking bill for it.
It happens. It's happening. I know you. Yep, you posted that.
It's total negation is what it is. They want to beat you down. They steal from you with the taxes, and that's the other thing. Let's look at it this way. You read a lot of the crap that I had with that, and I don't care if I do mention his name. It's up on a public forum. I posted it. Dan Plaza, that idiot up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what we're dealing with. I asked for facts. Not once did he give an actual answer. Not once.
But he probably wasn't required to either. Again, it's probably the same thing. And next time, God forbid if you have to go to court again, just watch. Remember what I said about just stand outside the courtroom and watch. All these people, they all jib and jab with each other. They're all in it together. They're all in it together. It's unbelievable.
The woman that actually got stuck representing my ex-wife, she hated it. She talks to me often. We see each other. We've actually been out to dinner, just, colleague-like. And we've discussed the stuff off the record. Everyone in that courthouse knew what my ex-wife was going to do, but because they have this in their mind that scribbled on a piece of paper that no one ever agreed to. I never signed the damn Constitution to begin with. And here's another thing people don't read the Constitution. The right of the people to contract is absolute. Well, if I don't freaking decide I'm going to contract with your state or your idea of a state, you have no authority.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Yes, unbelievable.
So you take your political game, and I mean, think about it. The questions I've asked before, like I was on the show the last time. Is there any time if I'm here, okay, and I'm representing my daughter in your case, am I entitled to a fair trial as well as my daughter? Well, sure. If there's conflict of interest, can I obtain one? Well, obviously not. Great. Who here is there here to directly represent me? Because she gets paid by the public dole, he gets paid by the public dole, you get paid by the public dole, everyone in this courtroom that had the sitting down, the stenographer up there is getting paid by the public dole. Who is working for me? Factually explain it to me, and then you factually explain to me how all your codes apply.
Right, right. Yeah, you're right. There is that. And the thing that always blows my mind every time, and I wrote that again in a piece that I wrote. It's called "Shitty People and Other Stupid Ideas." Is that anytime you saw it out there. Anytime that I've ever had to deal with a judge or a lawyer or a prosecutor, they've always been the shittiest people out there. It's like, oh, this guy is an effing a-hole. He doesn't care. I remember one time, a long time ago, what the hell was it? I think my license expired or something like that, and I got pulled over or something. Anyway, I ended up in court. I was like, I got my license renewed. I'm sorry, I was broke. I didn't have the money to go and pay the $45, $50, whatever it was. So I waited until I got paid next week, and then I would do it. Subsequently got pulled over in that interim. So anyway, I went to court, and I said, yes, Your Honor, I've got my license right here. Well, you want to work something out with the DA? You want to have a conversation with the DA? Yeah, sure, I'd love to work something out. Yeah, let's see if we can dispose of this today. The DA stands up and says, Your Honor, Mr. Mader has a lengthy criminal record, and he's waving my criminal record. And I was like, what the hell? What is... So it's like the whole thing ended up, all I could hear is this giant flushing of a toilet in the background. It's like, oh, here we go. And so I went to the DA later on, and I was like, what is this lengthy criminal? It's like, I don't even have a copy of my criminal record. What the hell? And I'm looking at it. It's like, it's traffic violations. I think I bounced a check in like 1984 or something like that. I was like, this is a lengthy criminal record. It's like, what the hell?
Summary charges. Yeah, that doesn't even rise to the level of a crime. So how is that even criminal activity yet? I mean, people don't even know what the definition of a lot of this stuff is. Well, I'm to tell people, let me tell you, do you understand the nature and cause of the charges brought against you today? No, I don't. Because here's the trick. When they say you understand, they don't mean you comprehend. Like when I say, you understand what I'm saying? They don't mean do you comprehend. They mean you stand under my jurisdiction. They're asking you to contract with them to allow them to put it in your backside. No, I don't understand it. And that's when I say, I start with it.
Yeah.
Where's the subject matter jurisdiction? How did you obtain this? Can you factually prove any of this applies? Is there monetary interest in this for both you and the officer and the court at large? Here in the adjoining town, I mean, it's literally about half again the size of the one I live in. It's called Scottdale, Pennsylvania. They try. I got into a huge row with the what the heck is the name of the guy that he's supposed to be the coordinator for the town, the towns and stuff, the township and stuff, and then they get the parking meters. I'm brain farting right now.
That's okay. Keep going.
Okay, so I go in there and I say, now explain to me how you would know if I got a parking ticket, which you can't even prove, there was me to park the fucking car there to begin with. How after 1 hour, how do you know if after 1 hour, if you guys closed on Friday at 4 o'clock, and I didn't come out until, 4:15 and got the ticket, how do you know that I dropped it in there within the appropriate time? There's no cameras up here.
Exactly. Really.
Exactly. If I don't pay within an hour, it gives $3. If I don't pay within 24 hours, it gives me $15. And if I don't pay within 72 hours, that's a $150 fine. I got a court date. There's another organization that does that. It's called extortion. It's called the fucking mafia.
Yeah.
what it is, yeah.
Can you factor in? No, here's the best part. They've taken all the parking meters in the town have been removed. You know, the guts have been removed so they can renovate them and up the price on it. But you know what? Buildings aren't burning. There've been no rapes. There's been no violent crime and wild bill in the second street. You know, dancing cats aren't living together. There's no mass hysteria. People are going about their business. They're just not paying fines out due to theft.
I like what you
And then
said.
one of my favorite questions is, and it's a word from a guy called Mark Stevens. He's getting pretty well known. He's known with Pop Rock, and he has his own show. And then there's Michael Bagnerick, with a former Libertarian candidate for president some years back. I actually went to one of his courses, and it's, I started asking questions on my own, and then these other guys were asking questions, so I started listening to them, and then, I'm expounding off what they thought too.
Mm.
But, Mark Stevens, the greatest question is, do you believe that any good or service should be provided at the barrel of a gun? It's a yes or no question. It's real simple. If you say yes, then you're a statist. You're a communist. You're a thug. If you say no, then people go, well, you want to do it's called voluntary. You know what? That's the whole thing. People want to be taken care of. They don't want the responsibility for their own fucking actions.
Mm.
That's what independence is. That's what we fought for. Leave me alone. I can take care of myself. It's actual work.
Let me tell you something that, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in Massachusetts, a guy just quite literally, he went to the Massachusetts State Supreme Court. What he was charged with is he was taking cell phone pictures on the train or on the bus up girls' skirts. And
they count that legal, but it's not legal.
Right. They actually, but the way the language, I was reading the decision of the judge, and he was spot on. It's like, while this is wrong, and there should be tightening of the law, he says we can't convict this guy because there's no language in the law that where a person should have the idea of a reasonable amount of privacy when they're standing on a crowded bus with a whole bunch of other people. If you're in a bathroom or in a changing room, yeah, of course you can't be filmed. There's an expectation of a reasonable amount of privacy. But when you're on a crowded bus, a crowded train, and something's going, you're stuck in there with about 100,000 other people. So there's really no. There's no expectation of privacy. The entire women's groups, the feminists, everybody went berserkoid, calling this judge, oh, he hates women, this, that, the other thing. And of course, it's got nothing to do with that. That's not what the judge was saying. He's quite literally interpreting the law as the law is written. So
that's his damn job.
Yeah, but needless to say, the very next day I go and I'm down at the store buying milk, and I don't buy newspapers. I don't really read them. I like to look at the headlines as I'm in the store or whatever, and I put the newspaper back. Sure enough, right on the front page, the Massachusetts legislature, which spends 90% of its time with its thumb up its ass, doing absolutely nothing. They've all suddenly convened to strengthen this law. And in fact, I was like, oh, I got to watch this. I got to pay attention to this, because you know what's going to happen. They're not just going to say, well, of course you can't photograph a woman up her skirt, okay? That's obviously, we got to strengthen that law. But you watch, and I can't wait. I'm going to see if I can find a copy of the bill or something or other, and because they're going to do that with cell phones. Oh, you can't take pictures of cops. You can't film this. You can't film that, because you know that's a big thing too. Cops are freaking busting people for filming them. You could be standing on your front lawn filming something going on out in the street with a cop beating somebody up. That cop's going to run onto your property and start beating you up and steal your phone and that kind of thing. So I can't wait until that starts happening. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to happen like that. That's the beautiful part of it is I actually had a cop. We called him down here because he was trying to smash the windows out of out of my wife's car about a year ago. And he says, turn off that camera. I'm like, no. I said, I'm not turning off the cameras on my house for nothing for you. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're on 3 cameras.
Yeah, really?
Well, you can't do that. I can do any damn thing I want. I'm paying for you. You come out here and answer my call, and I'll do the damn job.
That's sure.
See, I talked to him like that. There's nothing they can do. He kept trying all the way around because I was carrying my 9mm on my side. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I carry a gun. Deal with it.
I know, really. we need people like you in these gun-free zones, Let's advertise gun-free zones. Yeah, criminals, come on in.
That's another question I have. It's slightly off topic, but what the hell why is it the Second Amendment is the only amendment that needs a permit to carry?
Exactly. Where did that come from?
Right. I don't need permission to speak my mind. I definitely don't need permission to back it up. But these guys, like the cop the other night when I was in his file there, he was leaning down into his face. He wouldn't get out of the car. He wouldn't. He says, "You're dismissed." I said, "Oh, I didn't know you were my effing sergeant, pal. What's your name?" He wouldn't give it. I said, "You realize you do know who you're talking to, right?" I said, "I'm not trying to be arrogant about it, but you do know who you're talking to, right? Everybody in this town knows who I am."
Sure.
It's kind of hard not to. I'm not shy about what I believe.
Sure.
But the funny thing is when the crap hits the fan here, Chris, they don't call the blessed cops. If they're even on duty, which is rarely, the state police got 45 minutes to an hour and a half to get here. I'm all they got.
Exactly. Yeah,
and I walk out the door, no problem. Handgun on my hip, and a good piece of hickory in my fist. You know what? That could change right now.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, you're out in the rural area. All you have is yourself. That's it. And someone's breaking in. Somebody's looking to assault you, your family. That's it. You have. There's a famous joke. A guy was he was called the police and he said, somebody's breaking into my house. Please send a patrol car. Oh, sorry, we have no patrol cars in the area. Oh, really? Okay. Well, hang on a minute. So the guy goes and shoots the guy, shoots him, kills him, and he says, "Okay, well, I just shot him, and he's dead. He's out on the front steps, and he's dead." Within 2 minutes, cops show up. They're looking around. There's no guy. There's no guy. He chased him away. He ended up firing a few shots, and the guy ran away. And the cop says to him, he says, "I thought you said you shot the guy." And the guy turns to the cop and says, "I thought you said you didn't have any patrol cars in the area."
I like the one I got from Houston, Texas. It was the news clipping a friend of mine sent me from down there. God love Bill for that. He scanned it and pasted it in and sent it to me in an email. And I sat there about live till after I cried. It's on every internet now. There's an 83-year-old woman that was pulled over by a police officer. She handed him her driver's license and her Terry ID. Mm-hmm. And the cop says, "Well, could you step out of the car, ma'am?" And he asked her to please lay her firearms on the hood. And she pulls out like two 357s, a 45 and a 9mm, and he looks at her just, I guess, behind eyes agape, stating, "What are you afraid of?" And she just looked at him calm and said, "Not an effing thing."
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's the point. I've had ladies, bless her heart, she doesn't man it better. I can tell she doesn't. And it's a lot of look at Eric Holder. We got to really brainwash the way people think about guns.
Yeah, I posted that. Yeah, I saw that.
I am not responsible for your discomfort now. I don't give a crap whether you like it or not. It is my right, and I'm going to exercise it so knuckleheads like him don't take it away.
And the concept of...
This lady's in a Walmart. She's standing in a Walmart, which I really don't like them. They have 50,000 freaking registers and only 2 are open. But she looks in her eyes. She does that little click noise that ladies do with their tongue, which is so blessed and annoying to us men. And she says to me, "Do you really think you're going to need that?" I said, "Man, let me answer your question with a question." I said, "If we were standing in a 7-Eleven and a crackhead came in with a 45 in his pants and see the sign on my head, do you think he'd try and rob the place, or do you think he'd get somewhere else?"
Yeah, he'd think twice.
I carry it so I don't have to use it. Would you get in your car if I told you absolutely needed a seatbelt today? Well, no. There you go. Why do you wear it? Well, to keep me safe. Exactly the point.
Exactly. And the other concept of illegal guns,
what the hell is that?
What the hell is that? I can see if you use a gun in the commission of a crime, you used a gun illegally. It's the action. It's what you're doing with it.
Right.
Hell, I could grab one of my camera stands right here in front of me and beat somebody to death. What am I using an illegal camera stand? It's like, what, do I have to register my camera stands? It's like, what the hell? Or even a microphone. I can hit somebody over the head with my microphone. What, am I using an illegal microphone? So, and they create these laws where if you're caught with a gun and it's not yours, or it's not registered, or it is yours, you bought it or whatever, but it's not registered, you're technically charged with owning an illegal firearm. How is a firearm illegal? How is a coffee cup illegal? How is my cell phone illegal? Is it just because I didn't register it with you guys, so you can come and take it away? And that's the whole thing about registration. Look at Connecticut. You know what's going on in Connecticut. And that stupid cop, he's like, I'm the master. I'm the one who's gonna uphold the law. And it's like, go fuck yourself, buddy. You sure come to my house, freaking boom. Go ahead, try to take my guns away. Give me a freaking break.
Yeah, it's like this. I don't believe that anyone. That's the whole point. I actually read the Constitution. I have read it. So even though I don't believe in it, I don't. You know what? Factually, it is. It's 4 damn pieces of paper written on hemp, which is illegal anyway. You know, like,
that's so true. It is. It's written on weed paper.
It's just the marvelous illusion of their, you know, and they tend to say that people like me are crazy. I'm sorry, I'm not the one who goes around thinking, you know, I've committed laws. Hell, I probably commit 7 or 8 felonies a day. But you know what? That isn't a magic piece of paper. When I violate the law, thunderbolts don't rain out of heaven and turn me to dust. Kiss my ass. I'm tired of that crap. The whole idea is, I mean, the whole Constitution, you know, I actually hope, in a way, they do try to confiscate that crap in Connecticut. I really do.
I want to see what's going to happen.
Because the last conversation I had was you on the phone. You remember about the whole IRS thing?
Sure, right.
I mean, you take it, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna reiterate that for the people that might be listening.
Go ahead quickly. Actually, we got to wrap this up really soon, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, because people need to understand that, like I said, the size of the government compared to is like a dime in the corner of a football field. Okay, their entire. Now I'm talking police, military, their legal enforcement might make the size of a circle of a 5-gallon bucket. But you look across that field, and every blade of grass on there represents 100 human beings. What can they do if we just told them, no, we're not filing your damn taxes, we're not playing this game anymore. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says that the Congress has the right to print and regulate the value of money. Nowhere in there does it say it has the right to hand that power over to an unregistered, unoverseen private banking industry. It doesn't exist. It's unconstitutional on its face, even if the damn Constitution did actually have any authority, which it really doesn't. And if anybody doesn't doubt that, there's a guy called Lysander Spooner. The essay for it was called The Constitution of No Authority. It's up on Liberty v. Tyranny in the notes section. This whole thing with the summary laws, like the driver's license and the crap you're going through with these kids, there's a thing up on the Liberty v. Tyranny in the notes section called summary law, constitutional violation. Huge write up on there, about 6 or 7 paragraphs. I mean, I put all this stuff up there, and I'm trying to get that out for people to read it.
Sure.
And you know yourself, I told you when you and I first started talking, don't believe a flipping word I say. Go and read what I put down there. Verify it for yourself. I mean, you told me, hey, you know, I wouldn't check this out. Good. You're not going to offend me by that. Please do.
Yeah.
If I'm incorrect, show me, and then I'll correct it.
Yeah,
That's
right.
right here. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you really got to have a no apologies policy, and that's the other thing that you saw when I wrote that. Mean Potatoes has a no apology. You know, if I make a factual mistake, or I say something that isn't quite true, or I just got my facts wrong. Obviously, I'm gonna make a correction, but I'm not gonna apologize. I'm sorry that I upset you. And
that's actually up on the Liberty v. Tyranny page too.
I read that whole thing that you said. That was great. That was great. The Glickens. There's another one, Hyde, and it's got to do with cell phone usage also. In Massachusetts. I think it's the state of Massachusetts versus Hyde.
There's 7 or 8 from California. There's 2 in Texas that I'm aware of. There's 1 here in Pennsylvania where the guy completely trounced them, and they had to pay everything, including court costs, filing fees, his lost wages, so on and so forth, till he found another job. I mean, he trounced them.
Sure.
And only for him.
Good. Garret,
You know?
Garret, thank you so much for calling in this afternoon.
Thanks for having me
Ladies
on.
and gentlemen, Garret Phoenix. He's the administrator on the Meat and Potatoes page. He's got his own Facebook page, Liberty and Tyranny, right? I don't have it in front of me.
Liberty v. Tyranny.
Yeah, there you go.
Tyranny.
And we'll put that, and you can always find it on the Meat and Potatoes Facebook page too. Garrett's an admin there, and he posts stuff all the time. Yeah, and do that. Grab a bunch of that stuff that you were talking about today, and throw it on the M&P page and other links to your page as well. So, Garret, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for calling in.
think that's it. I think I lost him. And that's it. Thank you very much.